Fire away.
What are the injuries? What's going to stand with Trey?
We'll see. Well, early in the week, Monday, we'll have to give it kind of a day-to-day listing here and see where they're at. A lot of guys that are sore, so we'll just have to play by ear.
Like, is he
He'll be out for this game for sure. Get more information now. He's got a pec. It's going to be a while. We'll just see what that means.
and then Amari slept late?
Amari should be good to go.
Shamar?
Shamar's progressing back, so we'll get a chance to. We don't do a lot of full speed work this week, but I'm optimistic about him.
And then you got Lucas in some practices last week.
Yeah.
That takes a step.
He's looked good.
forward.
We'll just continue to make decisions on that, but from a physical standpoint, he's looked good.
He entered concussion protocol.
Yes.
Tight end obviously gets thin
Yeah.
quickly there. What's kind of your idea of the approach to take as that room gets a little thinner?
Well, if Tanner can't go, you still got three other ones. Three that play for us. So Cam McGrady's been up and down over the course of the season, last season. So still have three guys there.
As you look back on it, how do you feel about the operation with Flacco, quarterback, first game, all that kind
Good. I thought he settled in. Especially being on the road and just having to hear from me in the huddle. It's hard to hear sometimes with the nonverbal stuff at the line of scrimmage. I thought he operated really well. It's surprising how quickly he was able to do that, but gave us a lot of confidence in seeing how he did it. So now we get a chance to carry it over to home and use the verbal cadence and all that kind of stuff. But really, really pleased with how he operated and gave us a chance.
The second half without Trey, how differently did you feel like? Are there ways to scheme around not having him out there?
We're trying our best to find ways to manufacture pressure and get after the quarterback. And I know Al's trying to do everything he can to make sure we can affect the other team's quarterback.
What do you think Barrett? Well, you said after the game you couldn't judge
Yeah.
what Barrett did. What did you think after seeing it?
Yeah, I think he's going to get better with every rep he gets. And he and Demetrius out there play with a lot of energy. Logan was out there, and so again, it's a room that's going to continue to improve, and they're just going to need the experience. Like, we've got a lot of rookies out there playing right now, and they're going to get better with every single game that they have and all the experience they can gather. And I think it's worthwhile for them to gain that experience.
Did you feel like it was a risk going into that game to put him out there in that capacity with just two rookies in that environment? Whereas you could have had maybe Logan play a little bit more.
Yeah, I trusted him. That's why we made the decision, because he's shown operationally he can handle it. I think anytime you put a rookie out there, there's an element of risk to it. And just when are you going to expose yourself to that risk? Are you going to do it sooner rather than later? And I just felt he's shown enough to let's just continue to work through it. We're going to see constant improvement every single game. And so, again, a lot of confidence in him, and we'll continue with that moving forward.
Have you
Watching the film.
Go ahead.
Charlie, you're up.
Have you and Alex kind of made a conscious decision that you're just you're willing to play young guys maybe even more than you have in the past on defense?
Yeah, that's both sides of the ball. Our two starting guards have been rookies. So again, we're not going to hesitate to play guys that we think have a lot of potential for us, and there's going to be some growing pains there. But all the guys that we have they're intelligent guys. It's important to them. They're mature. And so we're going to get them out there, and they've earned it. It's not like we're just saying, hey, we're going to play young guys that haven't earned the opportunity. These guys have all earned the opportunity and shown us that there's a lot of potential there and that they're capable of doing it and helping us win, and so that's why we have them out there.
After watching the film, how would you assess the tackling yesterday?
Not good enough. Too many opportunities there where they got extra yardage, and first chance we get, we got to get them on the ground, and too many examples of that not happening.
Flacco's played a million games, but can you still put into context the challenge that it was for him to parachute in 4 days before a game, whatever it was, and start and play a pretty good game in an NFL game on the road?
Yeah, first of all, probably doesn't know many of the names of the guys on the team. There's young players that are out there that he probably doesn't know what their skill set is or how they work, and so just trusting the information he's got, going out there and making plays and making some adjustments and signaling a couple routes. I can think of one, he wasn't quite sure what was going on, so he signaled Jamar a route and gave him an opportunity. And I just can't say enough. It was incredibly impressive to go in there and do what he did on such short notice. He didn't get here on Sunday night or Monday morning. He got here Tuesday after the game plan was in, and 1 o'clock, really, our first second down plan is in. And so he has to drive in that night and practice the next day. And It gave us confidence just the way he handled himself and just carried himself through the week and through practice. I think he gave everybody a lot of confidence that he was going to be out there and execute, and he certainly did that for us and gave us a lot of juice there.
And now, unfortunately, you don't have too much time here. You can't really. How much more can you put on his plate before a Thursday night game?
You'd be surprised. We're capable of putting, now that we know what he understands and how quickly it hits his brain, it makes sense to him. And now that we've seen him operate in our offense with our players and how he takes to that, I think he really enjoys throwing to these guys. And so, again, we'll continue to press the envelope. We don't want to overwhelm. We don't want to get to a point of diminishing returns where now we got too much and we're forgetting what this means and that means. But I think he's shown that he's capable of taking on a little bit more.
You go through it.
Pittsburgh.
Go for it.
He's played Pittsburgh more than anybody, and it's been the same head coach. Does that matter with the familiarity?
I think it matters. Yeah, absolutely. He knows their style of play. He knows their level of aggression on defense and played against most of their guys over there. He was in Indy last year, played against them. So, he's been in Cleveland. So, of course, he's, like you said, played him as much as anybody has. I mean, obviously, he's probably played him more than anybody has in this league that's currently playing. So I think he's got a great sense of what it takes to win.
Every year you guys have a short week going into a Thursday night game, but the fact that it's a divisional opponent, new quarterback, what different challenges does this short week provide for you guys?
Well, the same as them. They're on a short week as well. They're just coming off a divisional game. So there's no different challenges for us or them. Again, our guys just got to get in the training room, get their bodies back right. Most of it's above the neck work when we're out there working over the next couple of days, just understanding what we're trying to get done in the game plan. But again, it is what it is. It's the same for both teams.
Mike Tomlin spoke today about being surprised that the Browns would trade Joe Flacco to you. He said it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. Were you surprised that a team in division was willing to help you? So to speak?
I was happy. That's my only comment.
With Thursday, where's the balance of saying it's a big game, division game, obviously, but one of 17 versus where you are in the standings, where they are in the standings, and putting a little added emphasis on this game?
I think there's a lot of emphasis on this game. We're coming off the stretch we've come off of. We want to win. We're hungry for it. Our guys have worked for it. We got to do a better job from start to finish getting that done. But there's a lot here. You got a home divisional game. The division is where it is right now. Because it stands the top two teams at the top, and you get a chance to knock them down a peg and put yourself up one. So our guys understand what's at stake, and it's big for us, and we'll treat it as such. And guys got to get to work, and you got to have a great performance by everybody.
It's been noted around here how challenging being the road team on these short week in the North. You guys have been on the wrong side of having to go do that a lot. Having one here, why is that so challenging for the road team? Why do you think that has been the case?
I mean, the travel always factors into it when you're just potentially traveling from a game the week before, and you're back every time you're back, and then you're in your building. You just get limited time on the practice field, and then you're back on an airplane again. I know the statistics. It's hard to win on the road in this division, period. So that factors into it as much as anything. I know statistically it's probably you're less likely to win when it's a Thursday night game, but even still, we know how hard it is just to win in the division, period, on the road. So you combine it all, and I'm planning on having a great atmosphere to help our guys and give us an edge and go out there and win the game.
Mike Tomlin's been there a long time, brilliant defensive mind. What are the difficulties in playing Mike Tomlin, coach defense or football team in general, particularly on a short week?
Well, they got a bunch of potential Hall of Famers out there. That's one thing you notice. Some guys that have been doing it at a high level for a really long time, showing really no signs of slowing down, despite me waiting year in and year out for that to happen. And then they got a lot of young guys that add juice to them. So they've got guys that they've done a great job developing that come in there and play the scheme the way they wanted it played. And it's always a tough battle anytime we play these guys. It's always a major challenge facing that defense. Our guys always get up for the challenge, and it's going to take everybody on every single rep. You can't let your guard down for one play. Kind of last year when we were here, that's kind of what happened. We had just 2 plays there where the turnovers got us and things broke down a little bit and it changes the game. So we got to be on top of everything and have a great performance from all of our guys.
Even considering just how the last few weeks have played out, what gives you confidence that this group can bounce back on Thursday night?
I just know what we have in the locker room and how they've responded to every bit of adversity we've had so far.
Zach, what impact has DK Metcalf had for them?
He's a big physical receiver, big play threat. He's got really strong hands as well. So again, he's been a challenge every time we've ever played him.
With Flacco and Rodgers, is 40 the new 30 in the NFL?
Anybody else in that grouping? I think it's those guys, really high-end processors, number one. Physically very talented. I mean, both you'd put the arm talent up there with anybody I've ever seen play. And so those are 2 things. They've obviously taken care of themselves the right way. They're both my age. I think Aaron might be right there, and Joe's 2 years younger. I can't fathom that, knowing how I feel right now. So credit to those guys for being able to do it at such a high level and take care of themselves and make the impact on their teams that they've both made.
Aside from playing here in 21, have you crossed over with Rodgers much?
No, we played him a couple times. Don't think I've ever spoken to him. Ton of respect. He's done a great job for a really long time. Been a guy you've studied as a young quarterback coach. He was somebody I always studied because he always did nuances. He was always high end at it. Talking about cadence, you're talking about subtle hand signals, body language, all those things that as a quarterback coach you have so much extra meeting time in the off season. You're always kind of combing through his tape and showing examples of him, and you always got a lot of great ideas from his tape. I studied it more so in Green Bay when he was there, but so and Joe Philbin, I worked for Joe Philbin. He'd come from Green Bay, so you're always watching a ton of Green Bay tape and having a better understanding of how they did it. So just always a guy I've really respected and loved the way he plays, and still doing it at a very high level.
You got 2 quarterbacks that 80 years between the 2 of them. I mean, that's amazing. The starting quarterbacks. I mean, they've still got on talent like you described. What else do they have that allows them to play at that age?
Well, I think just the intangible part of it, the leadership part, you always talk about a quarterback's got to be able to elevate all those around him, and I think these are 2 examples. Joe and Aaron, 2 examples of guys that elevate everybody around them. They always have a sense that we're still in it when they're at the helm, and so I think that's what they bring to the table.
Yoshi had some drops yesterday. Where are you at with him? Are you still comfortable with him in that role?
Yeah, really confident in Yoshi. Look at that being an outlier, and ton of confidence to keep coming back to him.
Going back to Pittsburgh, Rodgers, he had the struggles last year in New York. A lot of people were saying, should he retire or not? What have you seen about how he's kind of operated things in Pittsburgh so far, and how do you prepare for that offense?
I mean, I watched the tape late in the year last year, I remember, and I didn't see the struggles. I thought that was a narrative that just got thrown out there and people ran with it for a while, but I still saw a very similar player, especially as it went into free agency this offseason, who could acquire him, and you could see that there's still a really good player there. And this year you're seeing him play at a high level as well and done a great job managing that team and finding a way to win 4 games for him so far in 5, and he's been a big part of that.
You made the move to get younger at linebacker, obviously with Barrett. With Cam's struggles, is there consideration of seeing more fit? I know Fig's not a rookie, but he's still a young guy, 2nd year.
I think we got to evaluate everybody. Whatever we can do to help our team be in the best spot to win, we've got to be open to that.
What are your thoughts on having division games on short rest? You got 2 of them this year.
It's the same for both teams. So there's not much to complain about for me there. They got to do the same thing as us.
A lot goes into the way you guys turn things around after the first 4 drives, and then the way it played out after that.
Yeah.
It seemed like the toss sweep to Chase really kind of got things going. And then you seemed to lean into that even more after that. Did you just not have time to get to that early? Was that part of the game plan? Or is that something where you were reacting like, hey, it's working, let's keep going back to it?
No, there's times you're trying to get it set up and show them something, then come back to it another time. And part of it was you wanted to get that earlier. We just couldn't. We were in a 2nd and 10, and so there's some times you're going to get different front structures where it doesn't always work the way you want it done. So we didn't get enough normal down plays on those first couple drives to allow ourselves to hit all the things we wanted to do early. You always assume you're gonna have a good drive right out the gate and have an opportunity to let everything flow and complement each other. You're right in saying that did kind of kickstart us there in the run game. We did come back to, 2 other toss plays after that were efficient plays for us. And, we just gotta look at continuing to complement our run game and trying to marry that up with the passes as best we can.
So what'd you think of the protection, Zach? The numbers look like, you did a confident job
Yeah.
protecting him. What was your thoughts after seeing the tape?
Yeah, I mean, it gave us a chance to win the game. And if you'd watched this tape, all the third downs before our game, it was just a disaster tape. They're hitting quarterbacks on seemingly every play. And the conversions had all been on underneath throws where guys just catch and ran for the first downs. And so we factored that into our plan, a little bit. And there got to a point where we just had to drop back and throw the ball down the field. And I thought our guys held up really well. And Joe did a great job hanging in there as long as he could and giving guys a chance. And those guys at the receiver position came up big for him. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.